What's up guys, my name is Ace, and we finally have a confirmed final map count for Black Ops 4 at launch. And this is something we've been kind of going back and forth on for the past couple weeks. If you guys remember, about 2 weeks ago, I made a video talking about the fact that it looked like there were only going to be 11 multiplayer maps at launch in this game, which was definitely not enough. Now, the reason I said that at the time is Vonderhaar, in an interview, when asked how many maps would be at launch, he said, "I think you guys already know about this. I'm pretty sure it's all public information." And at the time, we only had 11 maps as public information. Now, fortunately, about a day or two later, we got a trailer for Black Ops 4, and in this trailer, there were 2 maps that were unaccounted for. They were maps that we had never seen before, and we just couldn't place them. So that right there showed that Vonderhaar was mistaken at the time, and they weren't all public information. Now, since that trailer, we know what those maps are called, and also there's one other map that wasn't showed off in that trailer, and therefore we have our final map count for the launch of Black Ops 4, and today we're going to be going over that. Now, just in case you guys are wondering, this was confirmed a few days ago, but keep in mind, I've been doing some traveling lately, and every video you've seen from me for the past few days has all been pre-recorded and scheduled, because I had to make a quick stop in LA before coming over here to Norway, so I'm finally here in Norway, I'm settled in, ready for the launch of Black Ops 4, and that's why you might be getting this information just a little bit on the late side. So first up, we have the maps that we've already played before in the multiplayer beta for Black Ops 4. We've got Contraband, Seaside, Payload, Hacienda, Gridlock, and Frequency. Then, in addition to that, we have Arsenal, which is a map that wasn't playable in the beta build of the game, but it was playable at Gamescom, and there are actually some full gameplays on YouTube of the Arsenal map, so you guys can check that out for yourself. I don't think I have any on my channel, but there are a few gameplays out there on YouTube of this map Arsenal, which looks pretty good. And then, of course, we have the 4 remade maps that are going to be there at launch, and Treyarch has actually finally put out some images of this, or quick little video clips of these remastered maps, and it turns out they are actually remastered rather than reimagined, which essentially means that these maps are going to have the same aesthetic as they had back in Black Ops 1 or 2. They've just been updated for the current game, so they look a little bit better and a bit more next-gen, if that makes sense. So with this, we have Summit, Jungle, Firing Range, as well as Slums. Now, personally, I really like the fact that they're going with a straight-up remastered rather than reimagined. And I don't know if this is just for nostalgia, but for me at least, I think it just looks a lot more familiar, and I'm really looking forward to playing these maps again. These are all fan favorite maps from the past. Although I will say Jungle was never one of my standout favorites in Black Ops 1. I really did enjoy it, but the other maps, they were all definitely standout maps to me, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how they all play out. So those are the 4 remastered maps that are coming at launch. They've already been confirmed for quite some time, but now we finally have a glimpse of what they're looking like. Now let's get into the 2 maps that were shown off in the trailer from last week. First up, we have Morocco. Now, Morocco gives kind of a COD 4 District vibe in the middle. At least that middle area kind of reminds me of District. But if you look at the overall map layout, it's obviously not District. It is its own brand new map. And just a little tip for you guys, it looks like this is going to be dominated by SMGs and shotguns. There's probably a couple longer lines of sight that would work well with assault rifles. But generally speaking, this appears to be a very SMG and shotgun heavy map. So that was one of the maps that they showed off in the trailer. The next map that was shown off in the trailer, and a lot of people thought this was going to be a reimagined Jungle, it turns out it's not. This is Militia. Now, Militia kind of gave me a Far Cry 5 vibe the moment I saw it. There's just something about it that really reminded me of a Far Cry 5 sort of a theme. And with this, we've got a river running down the middle, so that's going to be the lower lane, and then we have 2 raised lanes on the sides of the river. 1 lane towards the top side as you're looking at the map there. That's more close quarters, indoor areas there, but it will also overlook the river in a couple areas. And then on the other side, the bottom side as you look at the map when they showed it off, that appears to be a bit of a longer lane, and there's a church area there, and in the church I'm sure there's some close quarters chaos. Then of course, if you want to risk it, you can run right down the middle of the river, which appears to be way out in the open, and then there's a bridge going across the river. So that's Militia. This doesn't appear to be a really highly competitive, symmetrical sort of map that you would normally expect from Treyarch. I don't know how much I'm going to like this map, but we'll just have to wait and see once the game launches. This brings us to the final map that we have on our list, and this is one that we had never seen before until Treyarch released this quick little video clip on Twitter. This is ICEBREAKER. And with this map, we have a submarine that's stuck in a bunch of ice on a giant iceberg, essentially. So it's a very white, wide open map. Players are going to pop on this very easily. Looks like on the outer areas, we have some nice, slightly longer lanes and lines of sight, so sniping will actually be quite viable. But there's also the inside areas when you get into the submarine, and that's going to be a lot more dominated by the SMGs. I really like the looks of this map, and I just have a hunch that this is going to be one of my favorite new maps in Black Ops 4. And with that, that's all of the maps that are going to be in the game at launch. This is the confirmed final map count that we have. And this means we have 10 brand new maps for Black Ops 4 that we've never seen before within a previous Call of Duty game. And then we have the 4 remakes, which takes us up to a total map count at launch of 14 instead of that 11 that we initially thought based on what Vonderhaar answered in that interview. Also, I should point out that in November, we will be getting Nuketown for free. You don't need the Black Ops Pass for this. Everybody gets Nuketown for free. So that's 15 maps total, but 14 at launch. Now, 14 is definitely quite a bit better than 11 that we initially thought, and it's right around average for the Call of Duty franchise. Like, it's not the most maps that we've ever seen at launch, but it's also definitely not the least maps we've seen at launch. And so now I'm kind of feeling pretty good about the map count for Black Ops 4. I was definitely concerned when we thought it was going to be 11, especially considering 4 of those are remakes. But now that we're up to 14 total, I think that's much more acceptable, even though 4 of those are remakes. And I think a big reason that I feel this way is I like the maps. We've played 6 of the maps in the beta, and I didn't dislike any of those maps at all. I really liked a couple of them, and a couple I'm okay with. Maybe I don't love the map, like Hacienda, for instance. I don't love that map, but I think it's a good map. I've got no problem with it. Whereas I can't really say the same thing about last year's Call of Duty with Sledgehammer. Right at the launch of the game, we only had 9 regular multiplayer maps. And I think I could pick 2 or 3 of those that I hated right from the beginning and I thought were just terrible maps. So we'll have to wait and see how the other ones play out. I've got a feeling that they're going to play pretty good on average, although I'm a little bit iffy about MILITIA. But MOROCCO as well as ICEBREAKER I think are going to play quite well. And with that, I'd like to know from you guys in the comment section below, how are you guys feeling about this total map count? Also, what do you guys think about the fact that they're doing remasters of the remade maps rather than reimaginations where they just take the layout but they give it a whole new theme and look and everything like that? Which one would you prefer? Do you prefer having the same sort of look and texture, or do you prefer if they completely change it up while just keeping the layout? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.